All right, this is the third part of our InDesign tutorial for MCM210, and so far we have worked in InDesign by creating a two-page layout, adding a photograph, adding a headline, changing some colors, creating drop caps, changing the formatting of our body copy, and adding another graphic up at the top right. And so this tutorial is going to finish up your very quick introduction of InDesign, and we're going to take a look at adding a few more elements. And one of the elements that we'd like to add is a graphic down here that's going to be a dog bone, and we're going to make the text wrap around this element. And so I have in the groups folder for our class, in the in-class resources and InDesign III, I've got a file dogbone.jpg. So this is what we're going to use, and for easy access it'd be best to drop this to your desktop, and we should have access to it there. So I'm going to come in and just do a file, go back over to InDesign, do a file place, and we can locate this file. And here's our file right here. So I can come in and place this if I want that bone to be something around right there. We can place it. Let me go out of preview mode and go back to our normal mode. We can see some of our grid lines, and we can see outside of the page as well. So you notice that this box is placed directly over the text. So that's a problem. That's not actually what we want it to do. We'd like the text here to kind of wrap around the shape of this bone, and we can have that option a couple different ways. Some designers that really don't know what they're doing, they might take this box or this object and send to back, and then they might come in with their text tool, for example, and place a return right here and try to force, text to run around this this bone by maybe placing some tabs, etc. So that's the incorrect way to do it. That would create some major problems. So let me see if I can get out of that. So we're going to come in with this file. I'm going to go ahead and delete it, and let me show you the right way to do this. So I'm going to hop over to my Finder real quick and open this file up, which is on the desktop, and it's right here, the dog bone. So I'm going to open this up into Photoshop, and we did this previously with our Photoshop lesson, but I'm going to come in and make this a layer that I can edit by simply double clicking it, or you can drag the little lock to the trash can. So there's a layer that we can edit. I'm going to come in now with my magic eraser tool and click. That's going to take away the white, creating a transparent background. We can now come in, and I'm going to do a save as and save this as a PSD file. And when I save it as a PSD file, it's going to keep the transparency. So here's our original. We'll go ahead and keep it there. Here's our format Photoshop, which is the PSD file. I want to click on save. And from here we can jump back over to InDesign, we're now going to do a file place, and let me hop back to my desktop. Here's the PSD we just created. So I'd like this bone to be somewhere around here. I think I actually want it to kind of do something just about like this. Alright, so now we can see that the background of this is transparent, which we did not have that before. But our text is not wrapping around this, so what we do need to do is come over to an option that we have called text wrap. So I click there, and if you look at this first icon, it says no text wrap. So I can click on the second icon, and it's going to text wrap, and if I hover over it, it's going to show that it's going to wrap around the bounding box, right? So here's one that says wrap around object shape. Let's try that. I click on that and nothing changes. What you have to do is come down here where it says wrap options, contour options. We're going to come in and say detect edges. So as we click on detect edges, it now added, it's kind of hard to see probably, but it added a blue outline. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see this. It added this blue line around the bone, which is really cool. And we can change the size of this. So as you see, I'm adding, this is half a pica, basically spacing that I've added, and you can see how fine that this text wraps around this bone now, which that is really cool. So if I came in, for example, and changed, let's say I wanted to change my body copy, and let's just select this body copy. If I came in and changed, for example, this to a different, font altogether, it's going to change that font, but it's going to keep the text wrap, right? So if I would have done it the other way, that would not have worked, where if I would have used returns and tabs to kind of manually do it. So doing it the right way is going to save you in the long run. You just have to know how to do it. Okay, so let me show you how to come in and add master page elements. And so right down here, I want the title of this magazine to show up on every page on the right side. I could do it on the left page too, but I'm going to do it right here. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to come over to our pages. You'll notice that we've got pages 2 and 3, but up here we've got something called a master page, and you can have multiple master pages. This happens to be A master, so you can have B master, C master, etc. If you look at these two pages, you'll see a small A up here, and that means that the A master is applied to those two pages, and that's by default. So, excuse me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this right page, and I'm going to double click it. So now it highlights right here, and it's showing us that we're looking at the A master page. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to create a text box. And we're going to come in and create the name of the magazine. So I'm going to choose a font that I've been using. I can come in and choose a color. And I think for this I'd actually want to select a magenta. You could change this to whatever you wanted. Alright, so here we've got the title of the magazine. I want to drop that down, so I'm going to use my arrow keys. And I actually want that to be right outside of my margins. And let's say, for example, we wanted to come in and add a page number to every page. So we might want a page number right underneath that. I'm going to just duplicate this. Just duplicate it. And I'm going to highlight it, delete it, and if you come up to type, insert special character, markers, current page number. So that's going to allow us to come in and place a page number that's going to show up on every page. I actually may want that roughly on the same line. We'll try this. Okay, so there's a page master. We've applied that to the right page of this A master page. So let's come back here, and you'll notice that that's been added to that page. If we go to preview mode, we can see it a little bit easier. So here it is down here. It's actually not selectable, so we can't click on it and change it. The only way that we could change that is to go back to this A master page and change it right there. So this special character A that's right here, whatever page number you're on, it's going to pick up that page number and apply it. So that's an automatic, it automatically does that. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, the last few things that we might want to consider doing for this tutorial would be to create a breakout quote. So I'm going to come over to my text tool, create a text box, and I'm going to use a curly bracket, excuse me, for this cold that I have. So I'm going to make this font size a little bit larger so we can see this curly bracket. I'm going to change the color. Let's use a cyan here. And I'm going to size this to where that's going to fit. Alright, so here's a curly bracket. We're going to use this in our design element for a breakout quote. I'm going to duplicate this by holding down the Option key, and then I can rotate it by moving my cursor outside the corner, and if I hold down the Shift key, it's going to help me to rotate that at 90-degree angles. So we can come in and take these two elements, and let's come in and pull some text out of our story that we might want to do a breakout quote. And that's usually what a breakout quote is. It's part of the story that's really important that will create some more attention. So I'm going to come over, create a text box. I'm going to paste that. I'm going to highlight, and This font is Arial, so I think I'd like to use the same font as my breakout quote. So let's come in and choose Arial, and in this case Arial Bold I think will work great. Make it a little bit larger. It needs to be larger than the body copy itself. And a breakout quote sometimes will have quotations, right? Something like this. So we can go ahead and do that. I tried very careful not to have words hyphenated, so I'll put a cursor before that and do a shift return. Size this box to where everything fits. And I think I might want to try the center aligned. Ah, look, I'm still having this. So let's do a shift return. Okay, there we go. I think that works all right. So let me take this bracket now. You can use the arrow keys to move things around too. Want it to look like it fits inside there. And you know, I think I'm going to select this breakout quote and change it to that same color. You know what? I'm going to make it a tint of that color. So let's go 60%. It's going to give it just a little bit of depth. So I can take these three elements and highlight them and come up to Object and group those. So now it's really cool. I can easily drag this over, and so we've created a nice drop quote that fits on the page rather nicely. I might consider aligning it with the bottom of this text. I think it just looks better. Although I'm hesitant, I don't necessarily like this bracket over his tongue. I could readjust that, but that's probably pretty close to what I would do. So here we've covered how to do text wrap, how to do breakout quotes, how to do master elements, and I think that's just about it. Probably the last thing that I would want to do is to add my credit or my byline, and that's just a simple text box. A matter of fact, I could take this text and copy it and create a new text box right here and paste that. What that's going to do is it's going to pick up my color and pick up my font choice. And I think I would like to align that with the bottom of this part of the caption. So let's go to our preview mode again. Close this so we can see the entire page. So that is looking like a really nice two-page layout. It has some really creative elements. It uses some color consistency. It uses proper body copy size. Body copy size, by the way, typically you don't want over 12 point in size. It has some extra elements such as subheads, drop caps, breakout quotes, page numbers, has the magazine name and date. It has a creative headline. So this is an excellent example of a layout that would create some visual appeal where somebody flipping through would be willing to slow down enough to check this out. So I hope that this tutorial has been helpful, and we will see you next time.